Tristan, you really settled in after that first inning. What allowed you to kind of have success? It seems like the changeup was something that you guys went to early on, especially against those left-handed hitters.
Yeah, today was one of those days where I didn't have great sinker command or feel for my sinker, so I had to switch to living off my secondary stuff with my changeup and slider, and then kind of pitch off my fastball. But yeah, that adjustment kind of helped me extend my outing a little bit.
What do you think that says about your development? I mean, not only are you stretched out as a full-time starter now, but to be able to do that at this point of the year, know, hey, I've got to kind of switch my repertoire here in terms of how I attack people.
Yeah, it's definitely been a learning experience, outing by outing, and I've kind of learned, you just got to learn as you go and then make adjustments as you go. And throughout the progress of the season, I've kind of just gotten the hang of, you got to go with what's working.
Danny, go ahead.
Tristan, overall, could I just get your reaction to the win and staying alive and in this hunt, especially coming off the West Virginia loss?
It's nice, it was kind of a grind today too. It wasn't really the prettiest game, but we got the job done, and that's what this team can do. Like tomorrow we can put up a 10 spot for all we know. It's just we got to take it one game at a time.
And then in addition to you, Zach had a huge game. Do you kind of feel that you vets kind of got to lead the way sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, we know what the veterans bring to the table. It's kind of just a leadership aspect, more so how we handle ourselves and by how we play, and then we just let those younger guys know, with the loss yesterday, it doesn't mean that we're out of it by any means necessary. We're good enough to win 5 straight, and that's our goal.
And I don't know, are you aware of this run you've had of, I think it's 11 straight starts with at least 6 innings? Are you aware of the work you're putting in and the innings you're logging on the mound?
No, I didn't know it was 11 straight, to be honest with you. It's kind of just give me the ball and we'll go from there.
Chris Tavares, go ahead.
Does getting the win today, regardless of what happens the rest of the tournament, is it kind of a weight off your shoulders? You guys didn't go 2-2. You kind of showed you won the conference for a reason, all of that. And now you can kind of start focusing on the regional, regardless of what happens from here on out in the Big 12 tournament.
Honestly, our focus is tomorrow with this team. We try not to look ahead. We were obviously disappointed with the loss yesterday, and we thought that we didn't showcase what we were capable of. Why we're the Big 12 champs, and we're here to prove that why we won the regular season.
Cool.
Anything else for Tristan? Thanks, Tristan. Congrats.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Yeah, I mean, in our meetings, a couple of things that we talked about, and one, we have to have pitching step up. For us to stay in the tournament, we're going to play one at a time, but it's potentially 5 games in front of us if we continue to win. So we have to have pitching step up, and Tristan did exactly what he's been doing all year. Nixon was good in the 8th and 9th, and it was just one of those grind type days. I mean, wasn't pretty at times. We struck out too much, but we had a couple of clutch hits, and Zoop had a big day. And I thought, again, we played solid defense to secure another day in the tournament. So I'm just proud of our team for going out there and not giving in and just doing whatever we had to do to figure out how to win a ball game today.
Great. Thank you. Joe Cook, go ahead and start us off.
David, what led to the lineup mix up today, moving Mitchell down and moving Eric up a little bit?
It's more about our action. If Mike and EK get on, it creates havoc. If one of the two gets on, it creates havoc. I like where Mitch is and what he's been doing there. So it wasn't any type of demotion for him, but I just feel like we're not putting a lot of at-bats together and having a lot of success. So I just felt like we may be in a creative type day. And then you put Cy in the middle of all the speed where he can bunt or potentially hit and run. So just kind of what I wanted to do. And Mitch is probably our best bat to ball skill guy. And you kind of break up some of those big guys that sometimes swing and miss.
And then I know 17 strikeouts today. A lot of that was due to Olds just being on, but is there anything else you can put your finger on as to why y'all were striking out this much today?
Yeah, I think their stuff is really good. And it's one of those deals like West Virginia. If they land it that day, it's a pretty tough day. So he didn't make many mistakes. Probably the biggest mistake he made was he hung the slider to Zub. we got the RBI, and I think it was the third run. But yeah, he's lights out. 94, 97 plus slider. I don't know why we keep seeing all this stuff. It's good stuff.
Chris Tavares, go ahead.
David, how important was it for y'all to get the win and keep your run in Oklahoma City still going and not go 2-2 and start thinking about the regional?
I think it was very important. We committed to that in our meetings and basically said, you know, we haven't played well in neutral sites. We need to show that we can handle adversity. And it was kind of a challenge for us, the team, and we met the challenge. I thought it was big. Really, I think it's important, whether we continue to win in the tournament or not, to stick around a little bit. As good as our season has been, I think it's important.
That being said, and you kind of alluded to it, does it feel like kind of a weight lifted off? There's less pressure now because you did get a win in Oklahoma City, and whatever happens is kind of bonus?
No, not really. I think we approach every game the same way, and it's some games yesterday we approached the same way as today, but you know, we were fortunate to win this one. We got to do the same thing the next time we play, if that's tomorrow night or whenever that is. So just understanding that we're going to deal with adversity from now until we finish playing, until we either win a national championship or we're eliminated. It's just going to happen. There's a lot of great teams, so we've got to be cool-headed. It was good to see a guy like Murph come off the bench because we feel like we're going to get a chance in this tournament. And I think that's something that we can benefit from, is to get a chance in this tournament to see some other guys if we continue to play deeper in the tournament.
Dustin, go ahead.
David, how much have you enjoyed watching Tristan's maturation on the mound? I mean, it seems like he figures out in the first inning what he's going to have a feel for, how he needs to attack guys, and how critical was it that he gave you those strong innings so that you didn't have to blow through a bunch of your bullpen arms?
Well, it's very critical, but just watching the kid compete, I mean, he's much tougher than most people even know. And what he does every single week to prepare for this is off the charts. He and Ty are so similar. And he's feisty. I mean, I thought he made a mistake pitch against McKenna in their RBI. And I told him that, and he popped off to me, and I kind of liked it. It was pretty good. I mean, he was like, hey, you told me that if I'm convicted to a pitch, I should throw it. And I threw my sinker. And I said, well, your slider was the right pitch. And he said, well, I like my sinker. And so we kind of went back and forth on it, but it's all good.
Bob Blue, go ahead.
David, you touched on it a little bit there, but how excited are you now to get to see Pete throw again, to see Colby possibly, and then really even beyond that to get into some of those other arms if you keep winning?
No doubt. I mean, we don't have anything scheduled back in Austin right now, so we planned on being here for a little while. So for us to still be able to compete and not have to enter squad is huge for this team. Nobody wants to go home at this time of the year and crank up an inter squad. So, I mean, if that needs to be their motivation, I'm fine with that too.
Danny, go ahead.
David, is it Pete tomorrow or Colby, or is it going to wait till tonight to make that decision?
What do you think, Danny? Who do you want me to throw
I'm
tomorrow?
assuming Pete, but
Yeah,
I try not to assume. Makes me look foolish.
you never look foolish, Danny.
Tell my wife that. And then secondly, at this point, do you take for granted these innings that Tristan is going to give you? I don't know if you guys are just assuming he's going to give you 6 or 7 every week, but is that just what y'all are figuring when you send him out there for that?
Yeah. I mean, not taking for granted, but that's the expectation. He has set that bar. And so, I mean, I'll be shocked if he doesn't at this point, but it could happen. But he's been outstanding. I mean, when you get a number 2 following Ty that's going to go out and eat innings up, and you go to one guy in the pen, preserving the bullpen for a game 3, that's big time.
Got one last one. Jake Garcia, you're up.
Mike told us yesterday that maybe it's not the worst thing that you guys are now in a backs against the wall type situation, needing to win out just to stay alive in this tournament. Could you sense, though, that the team's demeanor today was a little bit different when they stepped foot in the dugout?
I would like to say no, but yes. I just felt like there was a little bit more intent, a little bit more focus, a little bit more urgency about it. And it started in our BP, in our prep work. So yeah, in a good way. I definitely think so. And the adversity is something we're going to deal with. And you're never glad you're in a loser's bracket, but it always tests your team to see what happens.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate the time. Congrats.
All right. See you guys.